Hi guys, we're going to talk about wide and narrow today. So the first thing I want to do is have us listen to a book or read a book about wide and narrow, and it talks about all sorts of different things that are wide and narrow and how we know if something is wide or if something is narrow. So first we're going to listen to that, and then we're going to do something fun with the guinea pigs to talk about wide and narrow. Okay? Wide and narrow. What does wide mean? Something that has a lot of space from one side to the other is wide. This boy is standing with his feet wide apart. This lion's mouth is opened wide. Which is wider? The brown house is wider than the blue house. The brown house has a wider door. It has wider windows, too. Which is widest? This girl is looking for the box with the widest ribbon. The widest ribbon is wider than any of the others. Which box should she pick? The girl picked the box with the widest ribbon. Did you? The green ribbon is wider than the blue ribbon. The red ribbon is the widest of all. What does narrow mean? Something that does not take up much space from one side to the other is narrow. These birds are flamingos. A flamingo's legs are narrow. Its neck is narrow too. What other things are narrow? This plant is called a spider plant. It has a lot of leaves that are very narrow. This sidewalk is very narrow. There is only room for 2 people to walk on it. What does narrower mean? The trunk of this tree is very wide. If these 5 children joined hands, they would not reach all the way around. This tree trunk is much narrower. One child's arms can go around it. Which is narrowest? Which line of paint is the narrowest? The yellow line is narrower than the red line. But the blue line is narrower than the yellow line. The blue line is the narrowest. What is width? When we talk about how wide or narrow something is, we are talking about width. You can use a ruler to measure width. This girl finds the width of the picture. Thanks for listening about wide and narrow. Hi Foundations friends, today we're going to talk about wide and narrow. So what I've got here, I'm going to flip the camera around, is I have 2 tunnels. One of them is wide and one of them is narrow. And I'm wondering if you can tell me which tunnel you think my kids can fit through. Adam, which tunnel do you think you can fit through?
This one.
Which one is that?
The wide tunnel.
The wide tunnel. All right, let's see it. Ooh, he's a big boy. He's got to go through the wide tunnel, and he barely fits through the wide tunnel. Paige, which tunnel do you think you fit through?
That one.
Which one's that one?
The narrow tunnel.
You think you can fit in the narrow tunnel? Looks like maybe not. Maybe you should try the wide tunnel instead. She's going to do the wide one.
I haven't been through a tunnel in so long.
Oh, my kids are big kids. Did this in our kindergarten class, and some of our kindergartners had a hard time fitting through. But Paige is a 3rd grader, and she made it through.
I did it!
All right, we're going to see if our guinea pigs will go through this nice, big, wide tunnel to get to their cage. All right? All right, let's see. There they go. trying to find how to get into their cage. They went through the wide tunnel. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Wrong way. She's gonna figure it out. They're having a little conversation. Okay, now we're gonna see if they'll go through the narrow tunnel to get to their cage.
Okay, here you go.
Is she gonna stay in there? Oh no, there she goes. She went through the narrow tunnel. All right, Paige, let's try Basil. Go for it, Basil. Is Basil gonna go through the tunnel? Oh, she did. Good girl. She might stay. She really likes tunnels. Basil. There we go.
But your
Let's see.
feet are like out the bottom.
She's just gonna hang out in there, I think. Basil loves narrow tunnels. They are her favorite. Okay, so today we learned about things that are wide and things that are narrow. And something that you can do is look around your house for things that are wide and things that are narrow. Sometimes noodles are wide and sometimes they're narrow. Sometimes the markers that we use are wide markers and sometimes they're narrow markers. What are some other things you can think of that are wide and narrow?